Hi everyone, I'm going to do a quick video on getting started with CBD oil. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about Hempworx CBD oil because it is a brand that I use and that I trust, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But before I get started, I want to let you know that none of these statements are approved by the FDA or regulated, and I'm not a doctor, so I cannot give medical advice. I advise you to refer those kind of questions to your physician. And a lot of them, unfortunately, don't know about CBD oil or a lot of the natural remedies or supplements or things like that. So I highly suggest, and I always recommend, finding a functional medicine doctor if you can that's in your area. That's what we use and that's what we trust. And functional medicine is going to not just look at medicine, but they also have a really good understanding of supplements, your body, natural remedies, things like that, and they are amazing. So that's what I would recommend. So with that little disclaimer, we're going to get started, and I want to let you know that this is what we are looking at. So once you get this in the mail, you're either going to have the 500 or the 750, and you'll have either the full spectrum or the THC free. Either way, I will help you beforehand, hopefully, or Tony or somebody will help you get started with that. But it looks like this when it comes, and these instructions will go whether you use the 500 or the 750, they will work for either. So with that being said, you're going to get a bottle like this, and the first thing is that you are going to want to drop the drops out and shake it up. And you do this every single time that you take it, not just the first time. You want to make sure that it doesn't naturally separate, and then you're taking that. Sometimes it's more potent, sometimes it's less. You want to make sure that you give it a good shake before you use it. Okay. And then I always drop it out again and drop it back in, and then you can see it's really easy. You can see the drops coming out easy. Okay. And so what you do with it is you open up your mouth and you're going to drop it in underneath your tongue. Okay. We're going to talk about how much in just a minute, but this is just the basic how to do it. Okay. So you lift up your tongue and it'll be in that spot right underneath. I normally do it after I brush my teeth. A lot of the time there's the natural and the peppermint. I normally always recommend the natural just because the peppermint extract, anything about peppermint, essential oils, things like that, peppermint can be naturally stimulating, and I probably already mentioned that to you if you've talked to me personally. But some people are sensitive to the stimulation, some people are not at all, and they love the peppermint. A lot of people go with that if I don't talk to them because they just want something that tastes good. But the natural is just a safe way to go, and if you brush your teeth, sometimes it kind of, masks the taste a little bit, but it is just a natural flavor. I'm pretty used to it. It doesn't bother me, but just know that that is how you do it. So the other question that I get is, how much do I use? And I'm going to ask you guys this just right off the bat, is be a little bit patient. Please be a little bit patient. We are used to pharmaceuticals in this country, right? The doctor gives you a medicine. They usually go by your weight. You weigh this much, and then you take this much medicine. And the results will be 15 to 30 minutes, you start feeling better, right? This is not pharmaceuticals. With a reason. If you're using this and you're seeking this out, it's because you're wanting to do something naturally healthy for your body. And this is a great choice, but we have to look at it from a different perspective than we do with medicine. It's not the same. Sometimes you're going to see some results really quickly, and sometimes it takes time. Okay. So be prepared with that. Now at the very beginning, whether you're doing the 500 or the 750, 5 drops is a good starting point. Okay. So I do 5 drops in the morning. I would say 5 drops in the morning. And then again in the evening, you can take 5 drops again. Many people, like myself, do really well taking it about 30 minutes before bedtime, and it helps me calm down and it helps me sleep. Some people, though, prefer to take it a little bit earlier in the evening, maybe around dinner time or things like that, way before they settle down. Now, what I'm talking about is, well, some people do this, some people don't. It's because all of our bodies are very different. We're all made and created differently, and we're all going to need a different amount. Now, some people will tell me, well, I know that I don't even need 5. I need maybe 1 just because I'm very sensitive. I don't take medicine. I don't put anything in my body like that. That may be true, but again, this is not medicine we're talking about. It is CBD oil. And so just because you don't take medicine or just because you do, whatever, it doesn't really matter every time as far as how much oil that you take. What you're going to want to do is listen to your body, and that's going to be your best bet. And we're going to talk about that. Like, how do I know if it's working? How do I know if I've taken too much? Things like that. But what you're going to do for the basics is you're going to take 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening. And you're going to do that for 1 week. Okay. And don't panic. I don't feel anything, or I don't know. try that out for a week and trust the process for a week. And then after 1 week, if you feel like you need more, you're going to be able to double it at that point. So you can go to 10 drops each time. And then you're going to do that for a week. And then on the third week, you can double it again. You can take 20 drops and then 20 drops in the evening. Now, how do you know if it's working? That's like the golden question, right? How do you know if it's working? A lot of times people are looking for a feeling, right? How do I feel? How am I going to feel? How do I know? Well, let me tell you this. It's not like a psychedelic thing where, you are going to feel something different. You are still going to feel all of the same things. You're not going to have a high or anything like that, but there's going to be an absence of some things. So basically, if you are stressed or you have anxious feelings or you have trouble sleeping, those things may be removed. That's what you're looking for. Let me give you an example of that. So I still have all the same stressors in my life. I have 4 little kids and I homeschool and I have a business on the side and I do ministry and I'm very busy. And sometimes some of the things, the pressures of life get to me. Sometimes my kids are a little extra needy or whatever it would be. I still feel those things. I still have those things, but I'm able to process it a little bit better. Instead of, how my mind sometimes will go to, oh my gosh, this is happening, and I start panicking or, trying to psychoanalyze everything, or I get really touchy with the kids and I may raise my voice. That kind of stuff is the stuff that's removed, right? I still am processing all of it, but I'm able to just think a little bit more clear, respond a little bit better, be a little bit more patient. I might feel more refreshed during the day. My sleep, I'm noticing, is better at night. If I have to wake up with the kids, I'm also able to go back to sleep instead of stay awake once I am awake or start thinking about things. Those are the kind of things that you're looking for. And I recommend that you journal and, write down the things that you were struggling with before. Write down your sleep patterns, how you were feeling. And then the first week, write down again. I took 5 drops twice a day. How did I feel? How was my sleep? Things like that. So you can kind of track it. And again, the next question would be, well, how do I know if I took too much? Now, let me tell you this. Hempworx, and I'm speaking of this brand, not every single brand, doesn't have anything added to it. So you're not going to be able to overdose or take too much in the sense that something bad is going to happen to you, okay? If you take too much, it might not work as well, and you might have some negative side effects. And I'm talking like, I'm going to give you an example in a minute, but I don't want to say big side effects because there's really nothing, but maybe like a stomach upset or something like that. You may notice. It's very rare, but something like that. But let me give an example of how you know if you've taken too much, okay? My husband was taking it at night, a little bit more at night, and that is also, we're going to talk about in a second. You can also fluctuate stuff like that once you start messing with it after like the first week or two. You can take a little bit more at night, and that's what my husband does. And so he upped his even more to see if it helped, and he noticed he wasn't sleeping as well as he was when it was lower. So then he backed off a little bit and took a little bit less. So you kind of have to figure it out for yourself and your own body, and it can take a little bit of time. Sometimes people are lucky and right away they get this many drops, they feel great, they're good, they take more, and they're like, no, go back down, and it's easy. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and it depends on our body, and then it also depends on the individual things that we have going on with it, and the severity of that. And there's so many things to put into factor. So that is just one of the ways of being able to tell is your own body. Also, people will say, can I take it in the middle of the day? And let me tell you that most people that I know take it morning and night because it's not going to stay in your system all the way until the next day, 24 hours if you just take it one day, once a day. But some people are okay with that. Some people take it in the morning and they feel great and they don't need it again until the next day. Most people take it at least 2 times a day, morning and evening. But a good chunk of people find that midday they start feeling a little stressed out, maybe that it's worn off. They're just not feeling 100% anymore. And so they decide to add a dose during the middle of the day. Now you can definitely add a full dose and do a full dose morning, midday and evening, or you can add like a half a dose. I do that a lot of the time. I'll take a dose in the morning and then in the middle of the day, I will take just like a few drops, maybe 4 or like half of my normal serving during the middle of the day. And that's perfectly fine too. If you notice when you take that you feel great, keep doing it. If you feel that, I took that and I felt a little bit more tired, then stop or back off or take less. Okay, do you guys kind of get the point about how you are, you kind of have to experiment and figure out what works for your body. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed, but let me see. I want to make sure there's nothing else that I missed. But again, your body is the biggest determining factor of if you know that you're taking enough and you know that it's working. One of the things that people have said is that you have an overall feeling of like optimal health. And you just feel good overall. I feel more energetic. I feel more alert. I'm able to focus. I'm not, my mind's not going all over the place, things like that. So watch for those things and kind of monitor it. And then you're going to be able to find that perfect spot that is perfect for you. They kind of call it the sweet spot. You'll see that in my chart if I have sent it to you already. And the other question that I have is, well, I had to take more the second week or the third week or whatever. Sometimes it takes a minute to be able to get your spot right. But do you become tolerant to it and have to need more and more and more? Absolutely not. That's the really cool thing about it and how it is different than a lot of pharmaceuticals, right? You know that if you take some pain pills, things like that, many of you guys have you've seen the effects of that. You take this much and then you need more and then you need more, or the pain comes back. This is absolutely not the same thing. Are there days where you are in a little bit more pain because you've overdone it? If you have some kind of pain and you want to take a little bit more during the day, absolutely. Are there days where you're more stressed out and you may need a little bit more during the middle of the day to get you through? Absolutely. But many people take it 3 times a day or more anyway, and they really never have to feel. They never have to feel those things come back. So I hope that answers a lot of your questions with how to get started with CBD oil. The last thing I'm going to say is that if you have tried it before and you did not have any effects and it was a different brand, there's a lot of different factors that could go into that. One being that it was not third-party tested and there was additives or toxins or chemicals or things that were inside of the oil that you didn't know that were not listed. Or 2, there could have been fillers. I mean, some companies even have like extra coconut oil or things like that, things that are natural, but things that change the potency of the oil itself. So Hempworx only has 2 ingredients. It's third-party lab tested. It has a certificate of analysis. So what it says is in it is what is actually in it. You know that. You can feel comfortable with it. And you know that it's pure and it's potent. So that's the most important thing. So I hope this was informative for you guys and it helps you feel a little bit more comfortable with getting started. I know that just with being surrounded by so much pharmaceuticals and the medical industry and things like that, our brains are wired a little bit different. We expect a certain amount to do a certain thing and for it to work in a certain amount of time. This is just a little bit different. But you guys, the effects are amazing. There's so many health benefits. So I can't wait for you guys to try it and to get started on it and to see how it changes your guys' life. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.